Hi, it's Sim. I got an ask on Tumblr like a while ago about what books I had, and I've been wanting to do booktubing for a while, so the ask was kind of like, maybe you should do booktubing and maybe you should start with a bookshelf tour. So that is what I'm going to do today. As you can see, my bed is right here, and that's because I like to sleep with my books next to me. All the Percy Jackson books are right near my head, which I kept that way for like years. Harry Potter used to be down there too, but then I organized my bookshelf in a more reasonable manner. So down there, up there. And we'll get to that in a few minutes. Yeah, I think I'm going to start booktubing and just doing book reviews and stuff like that, I guess, because I love talking about books and I wanted to be a YouTuber for a while, and yeah. So first we're going to start at the top of my bookshelf where I accidentally put all this stuff. Most of my books are organized chronologically from like time period because I'm a big history buff. So like ancient Greece and then like random medieval-y stuff that doesn't really have a time period. Then Primavera and The Lady in the Tower. Okay, I'll get to that in a second. But up here, this was supposed to go after Greek mythology, but it didn't. So I have the Wishbones version of The Prince and the Pauper, which I still haven't read the actual version of yet. I have Sphinx's Princess, which is by the same author who wrote Nobody's Princess and Nobody's Prize, which are two great books about Helen of Troy. This one's about Nefertiti, I believe. And I have the first Bible stories. I'm not actually a Christian, but when I was younger I was really interested in a lot of world religions and stuff. So I do have it, and I enjoy reading it. I don't know. Then I have Confessions of an Ugly Stepsister and Son of a Witch, which are by the same person. Well, Son of a Witch and Wicked. And that is the book that the musical was based off of. And this is like a Cinderella version of it, which I am about halfway through, not totally. Over here, as I said before, we have early history. So I have this book, which is called Take Me Back. And it is a trip through history from the Stone Age to the Digital Age. And as you can see, it's really touched and worn because it's golden, but it's basically the entirety of human history. And I got it in 2nd grade, and that's been my big book ever since. And next to that is the Dallaire Book of Greek Myths, which I recommend to anyone who wants to read about Greek mythology. It is the first book about Greek mythology I ever read, and I don't think I can get it out right now, but it's filled with glorious pictures and stuff. Then I have The Myths of Greece and Rome by Thomas Bulfinch, which is, again, another book about, yeah, it's self-explanatory. Then I have The Gods and Goddesses of Olympus, which is a children's book by Aliki. Once again, Greek mythology nerd. Then I have She's All That from Mythlopedia and Franklin Watts, which is just about all the goddesses and titanesses and muses and graces of Greek mythology. Then I have The Goddess Girls, Athena the Brain, which is kind of a silly little chapter book about Athena discovering she's a goddess and going to school. It doesn't follow the real mythology like at all, but it's cute and fun. Then I have the Pandora series, which I do not actually have the first book of because I read the first book in like a day. Needed the second book, decided to return the first book, pretending I hadn't read it to get the second book. So here's Pandora Gets Vain, Pandora Gets Lazy, Pandora Gets Heart, and Pandora Gets Greedy. And it's basically the story of Pandora, and she's released the stuff from the box, and she's got to go collect it and put it back in the box, which is actually really interesting. They're hiding in like different times and different places. So like Pandora Gets Heart is the start of the Trojan War at the wedding of Thetis, I'm pretty sure. Oh god, I need to brush up on my mythology. Then I have Mary Pope Osborne's like summarized editions of the Odyssey. So Tales from the Odyssey Part 1 and Tales from the Odyssey Part 2. Then I have The Hobbit, which is actually the only book of the Lord of the Rings I've ever read. I found it really boring, I know, don't hate me. After that I have Dragon's Breath, which is, I believe, the 2nd book in the Princess and the Frog series, except I didn't read the first one first because I'm an idiot. I do that a lot. you'll notice. Then I have Once Upon a Curse, the third book. And I have some Disney princess books and a princess primer, which is just about being a princess, because when I was younger, I really wanted to be a princess. I have Primavera by Mary Jane Beaufrand, and that's about a wealthy girl in Renaissance Italy. Then there's Lady in the Tower, which is kind of a biography of Anne Boleyn's last few days. And of course, I have some of the American Girl books. So Meet Kaya and Meet Felicity. I don't know if you can see them with the light. So I'll pull them out. And I loved American Girl. You'll notice through here I have a lot of books just about history. And I have The True Confessions of Charlotte Doyle by Avi, which is a really good book. I don't really know how to explain it. I have a summarized biography of Sacagawea. I have Emma by Jane Austen, which I never finished because I got stuck on the lawn dinner scene with the Woodhouse and the Knightley family, and I was really bored. It's Pride and Prejudice, which I've read like 3 times because I love it. Speaking of that, Lizzie Bennet Diaries calendar right here. We'll get to the stuff on this wall in a second. Sarah Plain and Tall, that series, which I read in like 3rd grade, is back here. Then the Clara Barton thing, that's, oh yeah, summarized biography. Dear America, When Will This Cruel War Be Over, which is the Civil War Diary of Emma Simpson. Then I have Meet Abby, another American Girl book. And then Dear America, The Great Railroad Race. And The Diary of Libby West. It's not focusing. Wait for it to focus. Oracles of Delphi Keep, which my best friend Lydia got for me. She's the reason I joined Tumblr. And it's by, last name Laurie, what's her first name? Victoria Laurie. Very good book, also kind of about Greek mythology-ish stuff. Dear America, So Far From Home. The Diary of Mary Driscoll, an Irish Mill Girl. I really should keep all my series together. Then I have Wishbone Journey to the Center of the Earth. Little Women, Book 1. Black Beauty, Helen Keller. Dear America, My Heart Is on the Ground. Dear America, Coal Miner's Bride. Dear America, Dreams of the Golden Country. Then I have Meet Samantha and Meet Rebecca, which are 2 other American Girl books. Then I have The Night Circus, which I got for my birthday and I absolutely love. The Cabinet of Wonders, which is kind of like a steampunk-ish book, I guess, except it takes place in a fantasy world. The Diamond in the Window, which is an old book, as you can tell by the wearing. It's really good and actually kind of scary for how short it is. The Miraculous Journey of Edward Toll. Dear America, Color Me Dark, The Diary of Nellie Lee Love, which takes place in like 1919 during like civil rights, not civil rights movement, but civil rights are starting to be a big play because it's after the Civil War. Then I have Dear America's Kit books. I have The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe. Not Dear America, American Girl. American Girl and Molly books, which is the first one I had and the doll I actually have. Then I have The Secret of Platform 13, another great older book that is kind of Harry Potter-ish, but really amazing. The Wednesday Wars, which I reread again and again and again because I love it, and it's so relatable and so funny, and it's about Shakespeare and the 60s, and it's awesome. American Girl Julie, then from the Mixed Up Files of Mrs. Basil E. Frankweiler. That's a really good other book too. It's about some kids who go hide out in the Met because one of them just wants to run away. Not because she hates her family or anything. It's explained in the first few chapters. Boxcar Children books, Charlotte's Web. Another old book. This is like one of my favorite books. It's actually one of the earliest books I've ever read. I know, shocking for like a 4-year-old, but I was a special 4-year-old. And then I have The Phantom Tollbooth, which I was also in the play of. Then I have The House at Pooh Corner, another one of the early books I read with Charlotte's Web. Then I have my Harry Potters, and you may notice that I am missing Harry Potter Book 1 and Harry Potter Book 3. So, I'm missing the Sorcerer's Stone and the Prisoner of Azkaban. Sorcerer's Stone was actually my sister's until I stole it from her on Christmas when she got it and read it. And now it's gone because I lost it in 4th grade along with one copy, my hardcover copy of The Last Olympian and the Prisoner of Azkaban. So I don't have those, but I have Chamber of Secrets, which is kind of being hidden. Goblet of Fire, Order of the Phoenix, Half-Blood Prince. Half-Blood Prince and Deathly Hallows, you can see, are very badly worn. Deathly Hallows is actually currently only being held together by tape because I've read it so many times. And then I have The Tales of Beedle the Bard, J.K. Rowling, Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them, and Quidditch Through the Ages, even though I've lost one of them. I forget which one. Then I have Harry Potter and History, which is all about how Voldemort is like Hitler and other things like that, like the history of Mandrake Root. And then I have the unofficial Harry Potter cookbook, which actually has some amazing recipes. And I have Turtle in Paradise, which I have yet to read because it is a contemporary novel, and I am not a giant fan of contemporary novels. And I have The Whale Rider, which is about a native girl, or boy, I forget, Kahu, in New Zealand, whose family has a history with whales, and basically self-discovery journey and stuff. Then I have Pippi Longstocking in the South Seas, which I actually think I might have stolen from my 3rd grade teacher. Then I have The Report Card by Andrew Clements. And then I have The School Story by Andrew Clements. Both of them really made me think a lot about life in general, and School Story made me want to be an author, which I still do. Then I have Diary of a Wimpy Kid, the original, and Diary of a Wimpy Kid Cabin Fever by Jeff Kinney. Then I have Dork Diaries which is an amazing book, by Rachel Renee Russell. It's kind of like Diary of a Wimpy Kid, except it's about a girl, and it's also really relatable, but it made me really scared for middle school, which I really shouldn't have been. Then I have the Christy Miller collection, which my friend got me for a birthday party in 5th grade, and it's a Christian book, but I read it anyway, and I kind of liked it, even though the entire message was just like, be Christian, and I was kind of thinking my friend maybe gave it to me to try to get me to convert. Then I have Mockingbird, which is a book about bullying, which is another contemporary novel that I haven't read. Scones and Sensibility, which is a parody of Sense and Sensibility by Jane Austen, and which is super annoying. Then I have The Wedding Planner's Daughter, which is an amazing, amazing book. Everybody should go read it. It's by Colleen Parator. I've never said that before. It's really good. It actually surprised me a lot how good it was. And I have Shakespeare's Secret, Looking for Olive Brandy, another contemporary novel about self-discovery I haven't read. Troy High, which is basically the Trojan War in high school. Amazing. It's by Shauna Norris. Then I have John Green, Moraine Johnson, and Lauren Miracle, Let It Snow. I have all of the rest of John Green's books on my Nook, which is not here right now. I have Pride and Prejudice, which I actually read before Pride and Prejudice, but it's not like Pride and Prejudice at all. It's kind of like a girl puts on this Prada heels and trips in England while she's on a class trip, and she ends up being sucked into a world kind of similar to Pride and Prejudice, except the storyline is totally different. And I have Season of the Witch, which is about a girl who messes with witch powers and voodoo dolls to get revenge on a popular girl, and it goes horribly, and it involves kind of depressing stuff, but it's really good. I got it for a writing camp I was doing this summer. Then I have Ruined by Paula Morris, which is a book about ghosts in New Orleans, and I love it. Then, of course, Miss Peregrine's Home for Peculiar Children, which I got in 6th grade for the Ames testing. Arizona sucks at standardized testing. Then I have My Sister the Vampire, 2 of the books in the series. Amazing series, the only vampire series I've ever liked. Mostly because it's about twins and I'm a twin, which my twin recommended for me. She was helping me film the first part. This is her camera. So Revamped and Vampalicious, and it's about 2 girls who are twins, and they were separated at birth, and one of them is a vampire and one of them is not. And they meet in 8th grade or freshman year. I forget which one. at a high school when the human one moves to town, and it's Ivy and Olivia, and they're very interesting and very well written. Then I have Allie Carter, Perfect Scoundrels, the third book in the Heist Society series. My sister owns the first book, and I got the second book from the library. You'll notice this. I don't have the full series of a lot of books. Then I have the 39 Clues by various authors, some of them being Rick Riordan, just to point out, which are amazing, except I stopped reading them because I got bored. Then there's the Kronos Chronicles, which are also about Greek mythology, kind of like Percy Jackson. In fact, the back one says, "This is a perfect series for fans of Rick Riordan's Percy Jackson and the Olympians books." So I love it. It's about the gods and Philonicron, who I can't tell you, but he's an amazing villain. It's like a demon. It's about two cousins. One of them is from England, and they move here because of something going on in the underworld that's following one of them, and it's about Greek mythology, and the gods are like Percy Jackson. They're self-centered and hilarious. So there's the Shadow Thieves, the Siren Song, and the Immortal Fire. So those are amazing. Then, of course, I have the Kane Chronicles books, along with the Kane Chronicles Survivor Guide. And then next to it, I have Spyology, which is a pretty good book. But it's like one of those, oh, this is how you can be a spy books. Here's my Percy Jackson books, which, like the Harry Potter ones, are very well worn. Except for The Last Olympian, which I got a few years ago because, as I told you, I lost my hardcover copy in 4th grade, which is the only hardcover copy I have of this series. But, of course, I have all the books and the Ultimate Guide and Rick Riordan, Demigod and Monsters, which is basically, as you can see, it's been spilled on, a series of essays written by other authors about the Percy Jackson series, with Rick Riordan doing the intro, and it's amazing. So I'd recommend you read it. Film The Lost Hero, The Unofficial Heroes of Olympus Companion, The Son of Neptune, The Demigod Diaries, The Mark of Athena, The House of Hades, and right here is a spot where Blood of Olympus is going to go. So then I have Fahrenheit 451 and The Host and Allegiant, third book in the Divergent series. If you don't know what Divergent is, you've probably been hiding under a rock. Didn't actually make me cry, though. Clockwork Princess is the only book to ever make me cry. Then The Selection and The Elite by Kiera Cass. The one is on my Nook or Kindle. One of them. I forget. Then I have The Hunger Games and Mockingjay. A hardcover copy, if you can see. I actually read Catching Fire because it was one of my cousins. But, no, see, this is my dystopian section. And then I have Stones into Schools, which is the sequel to 3 Cups of Tea by Greg Mortensen, which is about building schools in Pakistan and Afghanistan, and it's really inspiring. And I read it in 4th grade. First one in 4th grade, the second one in 5th grade. Thick, I know. And it's actually a real-life book, which means it's harder. And then I got this for my birthday, which is the Divergent Official Illustrated Movie Companion, because my friend thought I was more obsessed with Divergent than I actually am. Sorry for my grammar. Don't get me wrong, I love Divergent, but not as much as the rest of the girls in my grade. Then down here, next to my bed, I have some tissues and some notebooks. A lot of notebooks, like 3. And then I have Sontagmeyer, My Beloved World, which is a book my mom keeps trying to get me to read, but I don't really want to read it. The Webster's New Thesaurus, the packaging for my Kindle, and then more notebooks in the back, which you can't really see. Well, you might be able to now. And a ton of magazines on top of the bin, and that bin is all my old school projects from elementary school. And the iPod case I never use because it doesn't work with my headphones. Here next to my bookshelf is my Kindle Fire, which is dead. And on that I have City of Heavenly Fire, perhaps the one, and a book I need to read for school, which I don't want to talk about because it's boring. Then I have another thesaurus. I have Wishbone Joan of Arc, And I have Fairy Dust and the Quest for the Egg, which, if you don't know, is the first book in the series that inspired all the Tinkerbell movies. And the series is actually way better than the Tinkerbell movies. Now, next to this is the brochure that came with Son of Neptune, and my baby Raina right there in her pretty signature next to Jason's. And it's basically an entire brochure of Camp Jupiter. So, never trust a Gracchus. Don't lie to the Greyhounds. Don't mind the Laris. They may be opinionated, but they're dead. And please don't feed the fawns. It only encourages them to bake. I assume that's Dawn the Fawn. If you have seen an object like this, please contact the Praetor immediately. Rules and regulations. Outside weapons are not permitted. Proper identification is required when entering or exiting the camp boundaries. This rule will be strictly enforced. We mean it. This is the first thing I ever saw when I got Son of Neptune, besides the character arts, where I saw Raina and Hazel and Frank, and I was like, okay, Percy didn't get a girlfriend, which was actually... that's the first thing I looked at. That's sad. Anyway, my Liz Bennet Diaries calendar. Right now it's on the Gigi and Fitzwilliams. Gigi Darcy and Fitzwilliams one. With, I forget what it's called. It's that spin-off series that was done during the Lydia crisis. Domino! Yes, this is from the Domino videos. Then here's a copy of the first few lines of A Midsummer Night's Dream that I did in 6th grade for a project on Shakespeare. And I actually have read this play, and this is my favorite Shakespeare play. Over here I have some lockers that I made, tiny lockers that I made for characters I'm writing a book about. And then my horrible attempts at trying to paint. And then my sister made a My Little Pony version of me because she loves My Little Pony. So yeah, that's my bookshelf.